Greetings, everybody, and welcome once again to Word About the Word with Reverend Carl. Now, today, this is also going out as a message for Sky High Chapel, so I hope you enjoy what we're going to talk about, make you think about it a little bit. The subject today that we're going to cover is about the little children and what the Bible says about it. Now, to be a little more specific, what happens when little children pass on while they're still small and they're not at that age where they really understand the Lord and what's salvation's all about and that. Now there's two camps of thought. The first camp is, they're a little person. They never really had time to understand what was going on. And so, naturally, they just, once they're absent here, they go be with the Lord. They go to be with God and in His kingdom. And then there's a second camp that has this feeling that since they're little, they're born into the world in a sinful body, and they have not asked Jesus into their life, that they don't really believe that they go to the kingdom of heaven. And then still some others that are a little bit more off than that think that if a child isn't baptized when they're an infant by sprinkling water on them, that they're condemned. So, but we're going to look at that. First, I want to take a look in the Bible and see what the Bible talks about little children, and specifically what Jesus talked about his little children. Let's start in the book of Matthew, and let's go to chapter 11, and let's go to verse 25. Now it says here, "At that time Jesus said, I praise you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth, because you have hidden these things from the wise and learned and revealed them to little children. Yes, Father, for this was your good pleasure." Now right here, he's making a reference to little children in the fact that they are more knowing, their hearts are closer to God than the wisest and the most learned people. That's kind of interesting. Let's go on. Let's stay in Matthew for a second, and let's go to the 18th chapter, and let's start at verse 3. "And he said, I tell you the truth, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Therefore, whoever humbles himself like this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And whoever becomes a little child like this in my name welcomes me. But if anyone causes one of these little ones who believe in me to sin, it would be better for him to have a large millstone hung around his neck and to be drowned into the depths of the sea." Now, this is pretty interesting here, because once again he's making reference to children and how close they are to him and how close they are to God. And then he also he's saying that not only beware for doing ill against little children and turning them away from God, but he's also referring to his followers in there. But you see how he's referring to his followers as children, people that will be going to heaven with him. That doesn't sound like Jesus is condemning them for being small and not actually receiving him yet. Let's go on a little bit more here. Let's go to chapter 19. We're still in Matthew. And let's start at verse 14. Jesus said, "Let the little children come to me, and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these." Here he's saying, let the children come to me, because that's what the kingdom's about. That's their place. Doesn't sound like he's saying, oh no, you can't come in. Let's jump over to Mark, and let's see what he says in here about the little children. Let's start at verse 13 in chapter 10.